Imagine standing alone under a vast, starless sky. Silence surrounds you, and the world feels infinite, yet eerily empty. A single question echoes in your mind. Why am I here? You search for answers, but the more you dig, the more elusive they become. This is the essence of absurdism, a philosophy that confronts life's greatest mystery. Absurdism isn't just a concept, it's a collision, a clash between two forces, our deep need for meaning and the cold indifference of the universe. It asks us the questions we fear the most. What if life has no purpose? What if everything we do is a never-ending struggle? Today, we'll explore the origins of absurdism, uncover its unsettling truths, and discover how we can live in a world that refuses to give us answers. But beware, once you begin this journey, there's no going back. The paradox of absurdism. Absurdism emerges from a paradox, our unrelenting desire for clarity, meaning, and understanding against a universe that offers us nothing. Humans are meaning-making creatures. We look for patterns, purpose, and reasons, but often find ourselves surrounded by chaos and silence. Think of it as being lost in an infinite maze, with no exit and no treasure at the end. The maze simply exists. Why do we crave meaning so deeply? Is it because the alternative, a purposeless world, terrifies us? Absurdism doesn't shy away from this terror. It stares into the void and says, "This is the truth." The question is, can you handle it? Albert Camus and the birth of absurdism. To navigate this unsettling realm, we turn to Albert Camus, the man who dared to confront the absurd. Picture the early 20th century, a world reeling from wars, chaos, and despair. In the midst of this turmoil, Camus asked, "What's the point of it all? If the universe doesn't care, why should we?" Camus' answer wasn't comforting. He didn't promise divine plans or cosmic justice. Instead, he gave us the myth of Sisyphus. In Greek mythology, Sisyphus was condemned to roll a boulder up a hill, only to have it roll back down every time, for eternity. At first glance, it's a nightmare, an endless cycle of futility. But Camus saw something extraordinary in Sisyphus: rebellion. Despite the futility, Sisyphus keeps pushing the boulder. Camus famously wrote, "We must imagine Sisyphus happy." But how could someone be happy in such a situation? This is the heart of absurdism. Finding meaning in the struggle itself, even when the universe offers none. Facing the absurd. Sisyphus' story isn't just mythology. It's our story. Look at life around you. The daily grind, the repetitive tasks, the goals we achieve only to set new ones. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why? Or are we all avoiding the silence we fear will answer? Absurdism forces us to confront that silence. It doesn't offer escape routes or comforting illusions. Religion, ideology, even science. Camus called these philosophical suicides, attempts to avoid the truth of life's absurdity by clinging to false certainties. But here's the twist. Absurdism isn't about despair. It's about defiance. It asks, when you realize life has no inherent meaning, what will you do? Will you give up, or will you rise? The three responses to the absurd. When faced with the absurd, we have three choices. The first is denial, clinging to stories and systems that promise meaning, even when we know deep down they're not real. The second is surrender, falling into nihilism and saying, if there's no meaning, why bother living? But there's a third choice, the most daring, the most challenging: embracing the absurd, accepting that life has no ultimate purpose, and living fully, passionately, and courageously anyway. Camus called this rebellion, not against the universe, but against despair. Imagine being free from the weight of finding meaning. If there's no predetermined purpose, you're free to define your own. It's not surrender, it's liberation. Living an absurd life. What does it mean to live an absurd life? It means letting go of illusions, but embracing experiences. Joy isn't found in distant goals, but in the act of living itself. Picture an artist painting not for fame or recognition, but because the act of painting makes them feel alive. The absurd life is one of freedom. If the universe doesn't care, why not take risks? Why not pursue passions, love deeply, and create something new, even if it doesn't last forever? Absurdism doesn't diminish life. It magnifies it. It reminds us that every moment is precious precisely because nothing is guaranteed. Absurdism in art and culture. Absurdism isn't confined to philosophy. It permeates art, literature, and theater. Take Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot. Two men endlessly wait for someone who never arrives. It's not just a play. It's a mirror reflecting our search for meaning. Consider Franz Kafka's surreal worlds, where characters face incomprehensible systems. Or films like The Truman Show, where the protagonist discovers his life is an illusion, and yet chooses to keep living. These stories aren't just entertainment. They're reminders of the absurd we all face. Absurdism doesn't tell us how the world should be. It shows us how the world is, and challenges us to respond. Absurdism in the modern world. In today's digital age, absurdism is more relevant than ever. Social media creates false narratives of perfect lives, making us question, am I enough? But absurdism cuts through these illusions. It reminds us that true fulfillment isn't in likes or followers. It's in embracing life's struggles and joys, unfiltered and unpolished. The world may feel chaotic, but within that chaos lies freedom. The freedom to live authentically. Ultimately, absurdism teaches us that the question isn't, what's the meaning of life? The real question is, can you embrace life as it is? Every morning, every experience, every struggle, without fear or false hope. Remember, absurdism isn't a philosophy of despair. It's a philosophy of courage. It shows us that within life's struggles lies a profound beauty. And to see it, we don't need answers. We just need to live. So, I ask you, will you, like Sisyphus, push the boulder up the hill? Can you find happiness even in the silence of the universe? If you can, then you've embraced the absurd. And that is life's greatest triumph.